G'day folks, MODMAN here. Welcome back to the workshop once again. If you're having trouble with your wagtail pad, not flipping forward well enough or not flipping back well enough, I'm going to show you how to fix that with a flip clip. Let's get into it. I've already keyed in these plastic strips like I showed you on the previous video, ready for gluing. So what we're going to be using is some fabric. Now this fabric wants to be strong but flexible, strong enough to take some multiple turnings, twistings, and also some pulling, but flexible enough to flip, because what we want it to do here is flip like this. This is the idea of the flip clip. So it starts here as your standard underswing clip, and as you flip it, when you turn it to top mounted mode, it flips over and follows like that and ends there. So you want it strong enough to be able to hang on there, but flexible enough to flip. Okay, so I've chosen this. It's a type of webbing, a thin webbing, not the thick one. You can get the thick one, but it doesn't flex very well, although it is stronger. And I'm just going to lay the glue on here, put this on and glue it down. Very similar to how we did it the other day, except this time I'm going to be gluing fabric on there instead of gluing them together. So we've got that on there. Now I'm just going to lay the fabric down on top. One end I will make perfect, the other end I'll just overlap, and I'll cut that off later. Now I'm going to let that go off a few minutes, and then I'll show you what to do next. Right folks, I've let this go off for a few minutes, just enough so that when we start to bend this, it's not going to fall to bits. Take some clear plastic, take a sheet of plastic, it doesn't have to be clear, and I'm going to put that in the middle. What that's going to do is, in case any glue seeps through the fabric, it won't stick together as we're folding it. So just put it in the middle of it, fold this over best you can. It can be a little bit tricky. Now, while that glue has got some fluid, you know, it's still a little bit wet, let's put this back into the clamp, back into the vise, and give that a decent amount of pressure and let that sit. Now you probably want to let that sit for a couple of hours. Okay, now let's have a look at what we're going to do next with the flip clip. This one here is for the 18-inch slimline wagtail channel. I'm going to pop that in. As you notice, you want to put one of the dog legs in so that the longer part stops at the disc. That's your stop block. The disc is your stop block. Then you've got a finger width here, and then you've come up here. Now we're going to trim this. Okay, so put this over so as if it was into your flip clip position. Okay, like this. That's your flip clip. This is back to standard. We're going to just mark that and cut it off with the hacksaw. Okay, so what we've done here is trimmed that off to suit the dog ear 45. And then when it flips over so that's your standard position, your swinging under pad position, your flip clip is over there like that. Okay, nice and neat, nice and tidy. So what do we do now? Now we just need to manipulate this channel here like we did in tip number 4 to suit the wagtail pad, with your heat gun expanding here, pinching in here. Let's get onto that. Okay, I have pulled these two edges in, these two sides in. You can see the difference. Oh, and that's up side by side. That's the difference there. This is the standard, we don't touch that because that goes on the wagtail channel. This one here, we pull in both sides equally if you can. If you can't, doesn't really matter, just make it work the best you can. Now we're going to pinch this end in and expand this edge out. I find it better if you drop down the bottom flange rather than the top one. It makes for ease of getting the pad in. Okay, so what I mean by that is, if this is sitting on the channel and this is the bottom rail, so as it comes in past your disc, it pulls in beautifully. Now this end, we just want to pinch that in ever so slightly so it just hangs on to. You can do this with your fingers. It's a little bit hot, but that's okay. You can pinch those in with your fingers and that will hang on to the pad. It'll do two things. It'll stop the pad from wanting to fall back out to run this way, but it also stops the pad from wanting to fall out. Alright folks, well there is the flip clips finished. Okay, this is the 18 inch, two flip clips on either end of the 18 inch slimline wagtail. Now I'll show you what happens here. Now as you can see there, this is the clip and it flips over. Now I'll show you why I did this. I'll just show you first of all on what I call the fixed. This is the fixed MODMAN clip. This is the flip clip. Okay, so they're both the same. This one doesn't flip. This one is fixed, glued into position. Now what happens with this one is, if I try and do this over the top, if I try and do an over the top flip with the fixed clip, I'll show you what happens and why I've created the flip clip. Now it's over the top, okay? Now what happens here is when this comes over, it doesn't want to stay there when it's on the window. When you're coming up and down, because there's not enough coverage coming over. So when you flip it, it gets to about there, and then as you're coming up and down it wants to fall back and fall off. There is not enough of the pad coming over, so that's why I thought, well, how about let's make the clip follow the pad. Okay, so I'll take this pad out of there and I'll put this pad now into the flip clip. Okay, and I'll just show you again why I did the open flange here and the pinched end here. The open flange here is so it's an ease of feeding the pad in. So over the top, I'm just doing it here. It's not quite on camera because the camera's a bit hard to pick it up. Okay, so that's now top mounted flip clip. Okay, so what happens here, the clip follows, we hold the disc, the clip, we can get it closer for you, the clip follows the pad. Can you see that? Now let's have a look at how much pad is now underneath the channel. Okay, because the pad has followed the clip. There you go, can you see that? And when you flip it back, it flips back the entire way again. So there is the flip clip, what I call the flip clip. It's brilliant for over the top. However, if you take it off the top and put it under, it acts just like a standard fixed clip. So let me just show you what a friend of mine, Hardy, Craig Hardman, helped me. He 3D printed my flip clip with hinges. I said to him, can you print this up as a prototype with hinges? So there is the flip clip with hinges instead of instead of fabric. Okay, so there you go. That might be something one of you guys with a 3D printer or some other way of making it work might get onto it. I've got a couple. He made a couple of these up for me, one on each end. Okay, I really like this idea. And it flips back to be a standard fixed MODMAN clip as well. So there you go, folks. I hope that helps. There is the wagtail MODMAN modified flip clip. There you go. It's MODMAN. Give that a go.